Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
All right, so most of y'all know this. My mentor is Butch Sparks. So I didn't like it the first time, so what am I going to do? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Fantastic. I always have to remind everybody, Butch Sparks taught me, he trained me. I'm a mini Butch Sparks, and I take very much pride and joy in that fact. What I want to talk to y'all about this morning is something that I know for a fact we haven't trained at the department level about. I know a lot of y'all have been Americanism committee meetings where I've spoken about scouting. You've heard me talk about Eagle Scout projects. How much does how much should an Eagle Scout project cost to post? Zero. I want to teach you how to get free stuff. The other thing I'm going to teach you this morning is how to become involved with scouting as an individual and as a post. First slide, please. Let's talk about the two organizations, American Legion and the Scouts of America. And you notice I don't say Boy Scouts of America. It's because we've kind of changed the way that things are being done. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You want to have that conversation with me? Meet me outside after the training's over today, and we can talk about that till the cows come home. I would love to have that conversation, because 9 times out of 10, you'll walk in with one opinion, you'll walk out with a different one. I have an 8-year-old granddaughter, and the coolest picture I saw the other day was her with the Scouts, because I think she's about to join them. The little boy that we're adopting at my house, the first thing we did when we got him down to Texas, we took him down to the PAC, one of the churches I know, and we signed him up. And everybody knew that was going to happen. Well, first thing we did was a haircut, and then the second thing we did was give him the Scouts. The American Legion has supported the scouting program since we started as the American Legion. They're actually a year older than we are. So a couple of years older. They actually are, I believe, about 107 years old now. And so as soon as the American Legion started, we started supporting them. You can read the figures up there. And again, today we're going to focus on how hosting a unit, sponsoring the Eagle Scout project, and working as a unit commissioner. Each one of these, I'm telling you right now, they present challenges, but they also give you great rewards. Next slide, please. So let's say you want to start a unit. First thing you got to decide is what kind of unit do you want to start. When we say units, it's broken down by Cub Scouts, which are kindergarten now, all the way through 5th grade. Then you have troops, which are 6th graders to 18 years old. But you also have cruiser adventuring teams, and they're 14 and on up. Now they can be intermixed boys and girls. Troops have to be separated by boys and girls. Packs can have boys and girls, but they're separated by dens. And we'll get to talk about that in a little bit. What do we also need to talk about? What's it going to cost to post? Well, we have chartering fees, and that's typically about $40 depending on where you live. It's sort of like the American Legion. Wherever you live kind of dictates your cost, because each council is going to have a different cost to get you chartered and everything else. Also, operating costs. The unit is going to be responsible for their own camping gear and everything else. We can decide as a post how much money we're going to put into those units. Do we want to buy their camping gear? Do we want to spend all that extra money? Or do we want to work with them on fundraisers so that they can raise their own money and buy their own gear? You and I both know that if you give someone everything, they have no skin in the game, right? Let's make them earn that and make those little chests swell up. Look what we did. Facilities to host the meetings. Down in Pasadena, we hosted a PAC at a school because the school didn't want to get involved with the BSA because of some issues. So we hosted the PAC at the school. They held their meetings at the school and everything. All we did was we had our name on the charter. You can do it there. We have one post that's actually doing it with the Baptist church. So the Baptists have a facility that they're going to let the kids meet at. But again, the American Legion's name is on the charter. They typically are going to want to meet 1 to 2 hours per week with some activities outside. Safety is always an issue and a concern. So we want to make sure that the traffic, vehicular traffic, is not going to be around in that area where they're at. And the other big concern, and we can talk about this again later on this afternoon, but if you have a canteen in your post or you have a bar in your post, let's make sure that those children are on the other side of the building. Because I did hear a story several years ago where the kids were over on, near the canteen. Someone got intoxicated, decided to go out there and start running their mouths, and that post lost their unit. Liabilities and hosting a post. Again, Scouts of America provides the primary general liability insurance to cover both the post officers. That's COR, that's the chartered organization rep. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Employees and scouting members and volunteers for authorized scouting activities. Now I'll tell you a little secret. When you meet as a unit, that unit cannot go out and do BB guns if they're a pack. They can't go out and do pistols and rifles if they're a troop as a scouting activity. However, if someone decides that they want to open up their farmland to us and we go out there and we just all happen to meet at the same time and there happens to be some coats and punches out there and people just pick up BB guns and things happen. But if that happens and there's an injury, Scouts are going to cover that. That's on you. By the way, I've seen that happen. Not the injuries, but the actual everybody getting together at one time with BB guns. Make sure your judge advocate ensures that there's proper insurance coverage for any incident. Anything we do nowadays, we want to make sure that our insurance is going to cover us. All other questions can be covered with the assistance of the Scouting District Executive. You're going to have a lot of people, when you say American Legion Post 122 wants to start a unit, you're going to have a swarm of people come over to you and they're going to try to help you. They're going to walk you through a lot of stuff and they're going to tell you some things. And there's a white paper that should be on our website by now that tells you from step 1 to signing the final documents and starting that unit how to do it. It's all in black and white. But you're going to see a lot of things in there where your scouting executive is going to tell you have to do this. I'm telling you, I've been through it. I've helped others through it. Not everything they're telling you is exactly right. So challenge them. If you see something in there that doesn't sound right, call them on it. You can call me. I will make sure that you have my information before we leave here today, because I've done this long enough. Once everyone in your post is comfortable with starting a unit, obviously you need to make a motion. It needs to be brought before the executive board, and then the minutes are approved by the general membership meeting, and off we go. Next slide, please. All right, the print's a little bit smaller on this one. Recruiting leadership and youth. I will tell you that if you raise your hand, if you raise your hand and answer this question, I'm going to be shocked. How many of y'all have so many members in your post that are active that you don't have jobs for? That's what I thought. We all have that problem. It's not just one of y'all, it's all of us. But you might find some members in your post who say, okay, on a Tuesday evening from 6 to 7, I can give you an hour to spend with the kids. Most of the time, what you're going to find out, though, is while you're trying to recruit those kids from your local schools and your local churches, their parents are going to be interested. How many folks do we have in here that did their Eagle Scout? I knew I had a couple of them in here. There's your volunteers from the unit, from your post. But you're also going to find those parents that went through the scouting program as well. That's where you want to start calling your future leaders for your scouting unit. Then you're also going to have that mom, as they call them, helicopter parents, that don't want to leave their children. Get them as well. Well, ma'am, since you're going to be here wiping Tommy's nose every 5 minutes, why don't we go ahead and get you trained, and we're going to let you become a den leader. And Mr. Hines, since you're retired and you've got some snow on top, what we're going to do is we'd like to make you our Cub Scout leader. You're going to be in charge of everybody. John's going to get big, oh yeah, I'm in charge. Make them feel like they're buying into this, that they're an integral, because they are. We can't have any of this without the volunteers. That's a key part. The scouting program did something that I think the American Legion does good. I think we could do much better with. And that's is they set up these training programs, and if you do something over a certain amount of time, you get a patch on your shirt. The first time I ever walked into a scouting meeting, and I saw these scouters, men and women, running around, and they had 3, 4, 5 rolls of ribbons on their shirt. I want to be like that dude, you know. Then I started learning how to earn those knots. And now I'm starting to get quite a few of them on my shirt. And then I also learned about this thing called commissioners. And like I said, they're real good about promoting these awards because that gets people to buy in again. You got to get that buy-in. So we're going to recruit our leaders from our children and from our posts. We're going to fill out the applications, and there's a lot of paperwork. I'm not going to lie to you. That's one of the biggest challenges with scouting is all the paperwork. We're going to look at our committees because we're going to need a finance person, just like with the Legion. We need a finance person, we need a secretary, we need somebody over advancement, somebody over training. See what we're doing? We're doing a mini version of the American Legion. And what are we going to train them about? Americanism. We're going to teach them how to camp. And all the things that we learned in the military, except for the Air Force, we're going to teach them all. Yeah, John, you heard me. We're going to take everything that we learned and we're going to give it to these little guys and girls, and they're going to soak it up because of who you are. You're the men and women who defended this country. And these little kids, trust me, they know about y'all. And anytime they get a chance to come over and hang out with you, I can go hang out with Mr. Jernigan. Really? And when I have them at the post, you know what they ask? Jay, can I have your autograph, sir? I'm not kidding. They love it. We are offering something, not just a facility, but we're offering experiences. These little ones, they love that stuff. You're giving them something that they wouldn't get anywhere else. And that's partly why I'm so passionate about this. But we also need Cub Masters. Don Hines, we're going to get you an assistant Cub Master. That's somebody that can take over if he's not going to be there. Walter obviously is going to be real good at that. But Walter, because we don't have somebody that can fill that finance role, I know Walter I was good at money, and if he doesn't volunteer for the position, I'm going to ask him. If he volunteers, I might question why. You see where I'm going with that one? Anybody ever volunteers for a finance position, I got to wonder why. You got it. Your den leaders, assistant den leaders, again, repetition. If somebody can't be there, I need somebody else there. The other thing that the scouts do very well now is because they've learned from their mistakes. And they made a lot of them years ago. They have a thing called YPT, Youth Protection Training. And every single person in your post, every single person that gets near those kids needs to go through that training. And it's going to do two things. It's going to, one, teach them how to stay out of trouble, and it's going to protect you as a post. But the big thing about that is called 2 Deep Leadership. Anytime John and Walter are going to go camping somewhere with the kids, even if it's their grandchildren, 2 adults must be in that vehicle at all times. I don't care if it's your children, your grandchildren, whatever. Too deep leadership. That keeps everybody clean and above board. Next slide, please. Where do we recruit the children from? We're doing Boys State. We're doing oratorical. Fourth graders, I'm doing flag etiquette. We're going to do rallies at the schools. We're going to go to our local churches if they don't have a unit. And then we're going to have them fill out the youth application and pay their dues if the post decides not to. I would highly recommend that you don't pay those dues, and the reason why is because that can get very expensive for a post. Again, they need to have some skin in the game. Make mom and daddy pay for that. And that'll make sure that those kids are at those meetings. I'm telling you right now, my wife and I talked on the phone last night. That little 8-year-old wants to do karate. So we've been down there at Pal's Gym for the second week. And my wife on the phone said, I am not paying $50 for that kid to sit around looking like he's dancing and acting stupid. If I'm spending the money, he's gonna get his head right, he's gonna get focused. That was her words last night on the phone. Next slide, please. Again, what are the responsibilities of the post? There it is. And conduct the programs consistent with scouting rules, regulations, and policies. We're going to have our influence. We just need to make sure that we're teaching them about what the scouting program is. And it's going to take everything that we have and integrate it into their programs. Next slide, please. So what are you going to get from the local council? That's going to be, they will respect our aims and goals. They know all about the American Legion. Scouting program or scouting councils across the United States know exactly what the American Legion is and does. We have an agreement with them at the national level where both organizations work well together. They're going to provide resources as far as training, the programs, support services, and they will actually help us with the criminal background checks. You still want to do your own as well. Camping opportunities, they own a lot of camping sites throughout Texas and the United States. And there's actually 2 that are sea-based. One down in Galveston and one in Florida. And if you ever get a chance to go out there, they do the scuba training and everything. And there's awesome opportunities. Locally, they'll do Fun with Family, Weeblos, Coyote Stream, and Resident Camp. And those are opportunities for you and the pack to go out there with the troop and spend a weekend, a week, 2 weeks, whatever you guys want to do. And they're going to cover most of the costs on the camping. Next slide, please. Finalizing your paperwork. Again, paperwork. Everybody has to sign up. When you do your new unit application, he's not in here right now. David Parrish, their post is starting 2 troops and a pack. All 3 units, because you got a male troop and a female troop and a pack. All 3 units have their post number as their unit number. I'm not going to guarantee you that every time. In Pasadena, when we did it, we became 1521 because 521 was already taken. So we just went with 1521. You're going to fill out all your stuff, do your unit charter and your unit commissioner. Unit commissioner, and we'll talk about those guys a little bit later. They're the boots on the ground. They're going to be with you quite often working. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the Eagle Scout projects, because these, again, the greatest thing in the world. When I did this originally, I did it as a paper for my doctorate in Commissioner's College. Again, they set up a whole program that is taking me 5 years to complete. I had to go the first Saturday of December every year. I had to go to this college. And throughout the year, 2 other times, I would have to go to these classes at Scouting University. And the last step that I have to do is I have to complete a doctorate thesis or a project. This is what I decided to do, was teaching you guys how to get involved. So my doctorate person that's working with me on this disagrees with some of the things I'm about to teach you. The way I look at it is, if I'm going to put my name on something, I want you to give me what I'm looking for. I don't want you to walk up to me and say, Mr. Thomas, we want to do something for your post. We'd like to plant a tree out in the front yard. I don't need a tree. Well, that's what I want to do. I don't need a tree. But here's the list of what I need. I need 2 benches that we're going to take down to the Ripley house. I need 4 benches I'm going to take to my local schools. I need 3 buddy benches that I'm going to take here and here to schools, to elementaries. See what I'm doing? I'm having these kids, as their Eagle Scout projects, build benches, picnic tables, and other things. And I'm donating them to schools and our other places that we want to go to. The Fisher House. I'm not doing anything except coordinating stuff, but now I've got on Facebook, every single high school in Pasadena either has them or wants them. Every elementary pretty much has a buddy bench. I'm getting all the free publicity, and I ain't doing anything but doing phone calls. I may have to spend a Saturday at the post while they're doing this stuff. So you need to decide what you need. Who can it benefit? The post, the local community school, or ecological area. That can be if you have a wildlife park in your area, that kind of stuff. The post must be the beneficiary as listed on all paperwork. If outside the post, make sure to get the approval from all involved. Why build something if somebody doesn't need it? We can pay for all of the cost, or we don't have to pay a penny. We can put it on that young man to raise the funds. Right now, today's Saturday. Right now, as we speak, there's a young man at an elementary. He started last Saturday redoing their gazebo. Today, he's out there finishing it up. His parents paid for everything. And that was redoing all the wood, redoing the roof on one side, the facade, putting out new plants, and redoing all the mulching stuff. And they decided that the best way to do it was just to pull out their checkbook and write out a check and get all the materials themselves. So that's your decision to make. How much do you want to put into it? Working with the Scout, you need to advertise your project to your unit and district commissioners. Again, if you need help reaching out to somebody within the scouting community, let me know, I'll help you. But as soon as you tell them, hey, we got an Eagle Scout project that we need done, you're going to have 5 or 6 kids calling you. I mean, I answer phone calls all day and night, emails from people wanting to do Eagle Scout projects. But we just need to let them know. You'll meet with them, explain to them what the project is in very great detail. They'll make all their notes. They'll follow up the meeting with an email. And then you'll schedule additional meetings to go over and make sure everything you talked about is ready to go. At the very end, once he's completed his Eagle Scout project, he'll go before his board of review. They'll approve him to get his Eagle Scout. Then he'll do his court of honor. You will attend, you should attend, with your hat, with your cover, and present him with a certificate and maybe a small gift. And that small gift can come from the governor of the state of Texas in the form of a flag with a certificate on it. And you can request those, and man, that's really nice, and those kids really love that stuff. Next slide. I've gotten you through 2 ways of being involved. Now this last one, I'll be honest with you. Remember I told you I was trying to complete my doctorate, and I had certain steps I had to do? Well, one of those steps is I have to sign up 3 unit commissioners. I've already signed up 2, one of them being Jeanette Merrick. So out of this room, I'd like to find one more person as a unit commissioner. So just keep that in mind when I talk. This is an opportunity to volunteer as an individual. I'm not going to lie to you, it's not 1 hour a week. Sometimes it can be 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes it can be 1 hour a month. But what you do is you learn about scouting, you learn about the programs, you learn about how to run a unit. And they teach you this in a classroom. You then go out to the units, the packs, the troops, and the crews, and you work with them. And then you go back to the district and say, these are the resources they need at this unit. Can we get them more training? Can we maybe get somebody in here to do CPR? They're having some financial issues. Walter, can we get Walter Ivy to come over and work with them on their books? Again, this is something that we do at the American Legion. I think we can do it better. It's what they're trying to do over here. And those unit commissioners are almost like district commanders. They're there to, and I don't want to leave out district vice commanders. They're there to sit there and monitor and provide support to the units. They're goal-oriented as far as membership, training, and awards earned, and there's online and classroom training. When I first started many, many years ago, I was doing everything in the classroom. Nowadays, they've got almost all kinds of, almost everything online. So you can do all this stuff in the comfort of your home, wearing your pajamas. Except for you, Mr. Hines. Jerry doesn't want to see your pajamas. Next slide, please. I know. So, we're going to wrap this up. This has been real easy, very short. And the reason why is because I don't want to bore you with the details. If you need help, pick up the phone and call me. Shoot me an email. If you're within reach, I will go visit with you. Again, I know there are some people in this room that have a problem with this program. I would love to sit down and talk with you and maybe get you to understand why it's such a great program. But at the end of the day, this is something that's had my heart and my soul since my youngest one got me involved when he was a Webelow 1. He went from Webelow 1, which is 4th grade. He got me involved because his Paw couldn't do it anymore, so I went out and I started camping and everything. Webelow 2, I became the den leader. Well, when I went out the first time they were doing the Webelows Do Your Best, all these kids were running around like a bunch of chickens with their head cut off, and they had no clue what was going on. So when Webelows 2 came around and I started becoming a den leader, and we were getting ready for Webelows Do Your Best, I said, look boys, we're going to change this up. And I went a little bit outside of the scouting program, because if you look at the scouting program, it says you're not to train a paramilitary unit. Yeah, right. Put an Army guy in charge of a bunch of 5th graders. Guess what's about to happen? We get out there, we get out of the vehicle, we get them all lined up. And all of them looking at me and they're waiting and they're waiting. And I said, "Grr, I can't talk." And the kids around us like, what just happened? And everywhere we went, we marched. And the kids would call cadence, clean, not our style. Clean cadence. Yeah. But all the other kids were like, dude, I want to go out and join that pack. Because we would teach them flag etiquette, we'd teach them how to post a color. And I used the same program that we use here at the Legion. And the parents were like, JT, you've done something with these guys. I go, yeah, I got their heads out of where it didn't belong. And I'm showing them how we do things, and they eat it up. They really do. And I've instilled in a lot of those kids a desire. That little 8-year-old I talked about that we're trying to adopt at the house, asked him, what do you want to be after a couple of days of being with us? If it's all the same to you, I'd like to either be a police officer or a soldier. Okay, well, we can do that. You give them the tools, you work with them, you don't put the pressure on them. Just work with them. And they will follow you anywhere. 3 ways to contribute. The amount of time is dependent on your desire to make the program a success. You will have fun, and trust me, you're going to make a lot of memories. Do you have any questions? Yes, sir?
Yeah, the amateurs fight fit for people on it.
We'll put you on mine.
Oh, okay. Not that I need it. first class scout, ordinary, back in my day. Very passionate about scouting like you are. But here's my thought. Why not, when in Dallas is Circle 10, why not go to Circle 10, find the troop that's struggling, and then the post assist that troop or that pack? They're already in the church. I was assistant scoutmaster at Good Street Baptist Church, and they struggle a lot of times. So I take the liability away from the post as far as us beating there, because we do have a canteen. But we can help the pack or troop at that church. Is that equally acceptable?
It is, but Juan Torres, will you stand up for a second? Juan Torres, they did the same thing down there at 472, and what we ended up seeing was the troop kept going back and forth between the church and the post, and in that case, it didn't work as well, and I ended up having to answer some calls. I defended 472 because they didn't do anything wrong. What we also have to remember, and we'll be talking about it during the Commander's Caucus this afternoon, is image. Now, when I've seen some units that have closed down, and here's the thing about it, when you start a unit, all the funds that come in there, all the equipment, even though the scouts are raising it and everything, all that belongs to the post. All that is the post property. Do we really want to get into a spitting contest about who's going to take what where? If they want to go to another unit or they want to start another unit somewhere else, we're going to make concessions to a certain degree. Take this, take that. You're not taking the flag because the flag has our unit number on it. We're going to keep that. And those are the kind of things we want to work on. I understand where you're going, and I appreciate it, and we can do that. Just be very careful about how much interaction you have and how much back and forth you have on that. But again, we have a unit up north that's what they're doing. They're sparking the unit. The Baptist Church is helping them out. And they're taking them, actually, Chris, they took them on a, what was it, a mission?
Yeah, to Arizona.
Yeah, to Arizona. The church actually helped pay for everything. The post put money in, gave money to the kids to buy supplies for the people that they were helping. It's a great program where there's so many opportunities open. You kind of direct which way you want to go. It's on your post to decide how much activity and interaction you want to have. I mean, again, we did one out of school. We never saw these kids. I was a unit commissioner, so the only time I saw anybody was when I went by the school or called and said, hey, how are things going? Oh, it's going good. Okay, bye. That was the only interaction we ever had with that unit. Now, Flag Day come around, yeah, I was over at the school and I got to talk to them a little bit more. I say Flag Day, Flag Etiquette Day. Are there any other questions? You know why I like it? The fact that there's no questions, that means I've trained y'all so well that I will not have any more problems, and I will see so many units starting in this department within the next year. And the phone calls, please call me. Joseph, J.T. Thomas, and when you call me, do not ask for Joseph, and for the love of God, do not ask for Joe, because I don't know who that cat is. Ask for J.T. My number is 713.
Is it in the blue book?
It is in the blue book. Look it up in the, I love when somebody says that. Look it up in the blue book. 22nd District Commander, call me, email me, text me, doesn't matter. I'm there for you. Because this is important. Now, I'm surprised the other question didn't come up, but I will address it real quick before I walk off. And that's the whole issue with the males, females. What I will tell you is this. I stood before the National Commissioner 3 years ago now. And I asked her, I said, why have we done this to ourselves? And she goes, what? I said, well, Pete, years and years ago, Scouting decided that they were going to let in a certain group with a certain orientation, but only a certain little group. And they did it. What they did was they cut open a wound, and they started a lot of problems with contributions and all this other stuff, and publicity. And then they let it go for a year. Then they went back a couple of years later, and they said, we're gonna let in another group of people. And that was ripping the Band-Aid off. I said, you folks at National have done this to me 4 times. And people are getting tired of it. Why don't you just let anybody that wants to be in scouting be in scouting? It just makes more sense. I'm not saying that, and the question came up, well, girls mature faster than boys. And maybe those girls can help those boys. Because here's the story I told the female commissioner in the next year. My wife, for those of y'all that don't know, my wife is a dart player. She throws a 12-gram stick with a needle at the very end at a board. She does it so well that she competes at the international level. She makes good money doing it outside of her teaching gig. For the many, many years, I would go and I would compete against her every Friday and Saturday night. And I would get my butt handed to me by my wife. I would spend money week after week after week trying to beat her. Why? Because in order to get to that level, I had to compete against that level. It's the same thing here with the boys and girls. If those boys are so ticked off that they can't beat the girls at their own game, then maybe they need to keep challenging themselves to get to that level. Let's put the competition on them. Well, then they're going to get their feelings hurt. You know what? Then that's the parents' responsibility to explain to those young men that it's okay to get beat by girls. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. It's at the end of the game and your reaction to it. Don't be a sore loser, but don't be a sore winner either. Those are the things that we try to instill through the scouting program. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to me. I'll be around here the rest of the weekend. And thank you.